We all need to eat, whether we live to eat or we eat to live, we're all consuming food on a daily basis. And as college students, we don't really have access to home cooked meals, so we buy a lot of packaged foods or we eat at the diner. And it's important for us to know what goes inside of our food, so I'm going to give you a crash course on how to read a nutrition facts label. So first, let's start out with the calorie content and the percent daily value. So the calories are really just a number. It's not very telling because each person should consume a different amount of calories every day. It really depends on your size and your lifestyle. This ties into the percent daily value, which is really just kind of a gauge of how much each nutrient contributes to your total daily nutrient intake. And it's starred because it says on the bottom that your percent daily value is based on a 2,000 calorie diet, but not all of us should be consuming 2,000 calories. A lot of us should be consuming less, some of us more. Next, let's begin to look at the different nutrients. So first we have total fat, and not all fat is bad. There's saturated fat and unsaturated fat. Unsaturated fat is healthy fat, while saturated fat can contribute to heart disease and high cholesterol. So according to Men's Health, we really should try to limit it, and the total fat to saturated fat ratio should be about 3 to 1 or higher. Next, there's trans fat, which doesn't even have a percent daily value because really we shouldn't be eating any of it. And familydoctor.org says it's important to note that just because something says that has 0 trans fat doesn't mean that it actually has 0, because if a product has less than 0.5 grams, they're allowed to list it as 0, so you really need to check the ingredients for partially hydrogenated vegetable oil or hydrogenated vegetable oil. Also, there's cholesterol, which is a fat-like substance that comes from foods that are from animals. And at our age, it's not so vital that we watch it, but Men's Health said that we should keep it under 330 milligrams per day. Sodium also, unless someone has a problem with high blood pressure, it's not that vital to monitor, but you should aim to keep it below 2,000 milligrams per day. Next, we move on to carbohydrates. Total carbohydrates, that number isn't as important as what goes into the number. So carbohydrates are starches, fibers, and sugars. So fiber is basically like Drano for your body. It cleans your pipes, so it helps aid your digestive system with digesting all types of food. There are 2 types of fibers. There's insoluble fiber and soluble fiber. Insoluble fiber is digested, but it's not absorbed, so it really just like moves through your digestive system and it moves everything else with it. Soluble fiber is absorbed into your bloodstream and it goes into your circulatory system, and it basically lubricates your blood vessels so that cholesterol doesn't stick. According to familydoctor.org, for people under age 50, men should aim to get 38 grams of fiber per day, while women should aim to get 25 grams of fiber per day. So up until now, we've basically, sugars. Sugars, there are some sugars that occur naturally, like in fruit or in milk, and those aren't such a problem, but it's the added sugars that are a big problem, like high fructose corn syrup, sucrose, which is table sugar, and cane juice. And it's important to note that for every 4 grams of sugar, it's a teaspoon of sugar. So some yogurts will have about 24 grams of sugar in it, and that's equivalent to you sticking 6 teaspoons of sugar into like a small cup of yogurt, which is pretty disgusting. According to MSNBC Today Health, it says that no more than 32 grams of added sugar per day should be included in your diet. Up until now, I've talked about things that we need to monitor and limit, but we could also use a nutrition facts label to promote the intake of nutrients that are good for us, such as protein. Protein is a great nutrient and it helps us stay full, so we should really try to add protein into our snacks. But it's not so important to monitor because very few people have a protein deficiency. Vitamins and minerals are also important, but Men's Health recommends taking a multivitamin in the morning so that you really don't have to worry about how much you're getting from the packaged foods that you're eating. Now that I've gone through the nutrition label, I want to bring up two more points that are really important and sometimes they're easily missed when people read nutrition facts. Firstly, the serving size. Many times, the amount we actually eat is very different from the actual serving size. We tend to supersize almost everything we eat, so it's important to know that if we're having double the serving, that we really have to consider that we're eating double the calories, double the fat, double the cholesterol. Also, it's important to check the ingredient list because we should really know what's going into our food, and if we can't understand the majority of things in the ingredient list, we probably shouldn't be eating it. So in conclusion, nutrition facts really help us monitor our nutrient intake, and we can use them to limit what's bad for us and to also make sure we get enough of the nutrients that our body needs. So most of you don't prepare your own food, but now that you know how to read a nutrition facts label, you can be more informed about your food choices, whether you eat to live or whether you live to eat.